Hi everybody, my name is Shaylee and I would like to talk to you about Flashpoint Fire Rescue by Indie Games. It's 2 to 6 players, it's a cooperative game, so you either win as a team or you lose as a team. You are a team of firefighters and you're trying to rescue victims from a burning building. You win the game if you rescue 7 victims, you lose if 4 victims die or the building collapses. So let's take a look at the game and I will show you how to play. Okay, so this is Flashpoint. There is a house on the other side of this board. However, I would recommend playing this one for the first time because there are more doors on this side, so it makes it easier to get the victims out of the house. To start out, I would actually like to show you the tokens and what they all mean before I show you a turn. This is a POI, or a point of interest. This is where you're going to find your victims that you're trying to rescue. This is a door. This is showing it's closed. As you go throughout the board, you're going to have to be opening doors, so that shows that it's open. These are the fire tokens, and if you turn it over, there's smoke on the other side. To start out, you can place your pawn at whatever entrance that you would like. So I chose to be here, and I'll go ahead and start my turn. These cards kind of help you remember what you need to do for your turn and everything that you can do for your turn, so that makes it easy and nice to remember. To start your turn, you want to take your actions. You get 4 actions every turn. So for my first action, I'm going to move in. It takes 1 action to move. You can move adjacent, but you cannot move diagonally. So now that I'm right here, I can put out this fire since I'm next to it. It takes 1 action to flip it over to smoke. And I want to make sure that I completely take it off the board for another action. So it takes 2 actions to actually take the fire all the way off of the board. The reason I want to make sure it's completely off the board is if there is smoke by fire, by the end of my turn, it would turn back to fire. So that would have been a useless action. So I'll spend 1 action to turn it to smoke and another action to take it off the board. So that means that I've taken 3 actions, so I have 1 action left. I could move to this spot here. However, I do not want to do that because if you are by a fire and an explosion happens, which I will explain how explosions happen here in a moment, but if an explosion were to happen, some fire would catch right here and it would blow me out of the building. So I'm just going to choose to save my action and stay here. When you don't use all your actions, you can save them for your next turn. So this is an action token. You can place it on your board and that, or on your card here, and that will help you remember that you have an extra action to spend for a turn in the future. Now that I've taken all of my actions that I want to take, the next part of your turn is to spread the fire. So to spread fire, you need to roll the dice. And it's really easy to read. So you have 5 here, so you're going to go here, and then 6 is right here. So a smoke token would go right here. And this is a good place for it to be because it won't turn to fire since this door is closed. If the door were open, then by the end of turn it would turn to fire. But since it's closed, that's awesome, so it won't turn to fire. Okay, some other ways that the fire can spread is, say I rolled right here to place a fire token. If you roll on top of a fire, then what happens is an explosion, and the fire has to go to the next available adjacent spaces. So fire would go right here, fire would go right here, and then if there's a wall, the wall gets damaged. So there's a wall here, so that wall will get damaged and that wall will get damaged. If there are 2 cubes on a wall, that means there is a hole in the wall and you can actually walk through the wall at that point. Now, if these is how your building will collapse, if you use up all of these cubes, then that means the building has collapsed and you lose the game. So you want to be careful about making sure and putting out the fires as you go so that you don't lose all these cubes. Another thing I forgot to mention, if there's a door there, then it gets, if an explosion happens right here and there's a door, then the door would get blown off of its hinges. But some other things you can do on your turn, say I were right here, I can, for 2 actions, put chop at the wall and put a damage cube there, and then for another 2, so I use a whole action turn to put a hole in the wall, but then that would give me access to quickly walk through and get this POI. So once you share a space with a POI, you can reveal it. Now this one is blank. They throw those in there and just kind of throw you off. Let me show you this one. That's what the victims will look like, so that's what you're trying to look for, and those are the ones you're trying to save. If it's blank, you can just remove it off the board. And you always want 3 POIs on the board. So now that there is 1 gone, you would roll the dice just like you would roll for the fire. So 1 and 3. 1 and 3. It would go right there. So when you get to a victim, it takes 2 actions to move with them. So it takes 2 to move 1 space out of the building. Once the victim is outside of the building, then they are considered rescued. You can place them over here. Once there's 7 victims here, then you have won the game. Another action that you can do when it's your turn is if you're next to a door, you can open the door for 1 action. Now what I just showed you is the family mode. There is also an advanced mode if you're looking for more of a challenge. It adds several other tokens to the game. For instance, this right here is called the Hazmat token. There will be several that will be placed during the initial setup of the game onto the board. And if fire gets to a Hazmat, then it will explode. And then right here, this is a hotspot. There will be several placed throughout the board. If fire gets to a hotspot, then you have to roll again to place a fire token. There's also a fire engine. The fire engines go on spots like this, and you can get into the fire engine and move it for 2 actions. Another thing you can do with a fire engine is you can use the deck gun. Using the deck gun will help you put out more fires. It'll put out, say, 1 spot and then anything adjacent to that spot. So if the fire is super out of control, you can take your fire truck to that quadrant, and you can tell what quadrant it is in by red dotted lines. So I'm going to put it right here and say I want to put some fires out right here. So how you do that is it takes 4 actions to use the deck gun, and you'll roll the dice. And how that works is you have to stay within the quadrant. So if the dice is rolled outside of the quadrant, you would flip the dice over till it is in the quadrant. But we don't have to worry about that, it looks like right now, because it's 6 and 5, which is within the quadrant that the fire truck is in. So it would take this out just like that. So that's not the best roll to get for the deck gun. I would have rather have gotten, say, this one, because then it would have taken this one, and that one out like that. They also have ambulances. In the advanced mode, you actually have to get them to the ambulance to consider them saved. And you can drive the ambulance just like this for 2 actions. So say you can bring it over here, and then I can quickly get a victim out of the house into the ambulance. So with those extra tokens, the fire does spread a lot faster, so you're going to want to use the specialists. And here they are. The paramedic will treat victims so that you can get them out of the building faster. And she gets 3 of these tokens that she can use. So if you're to get to a victim, you can treat that victim for 1 action, and then they can walk out with you. So it only takes 1 action to move with the victim. So that is the advanced mode, and that's how you play Flashpoint. So I have had a lot of fun playing Flashpoint, but with any game it does have its cons. First of all, being a cooperative game, sometimes you can get that player that is bossy and they want to tell everyone else what to do. And since you are on a team, it is okay to give advice, but it should be the player going that makes that final decision during their turn. Another con that some people might find in the game is it is very random. You don't ever know where the fire is going to spread. You don't know where the POIs are going to be. So you can't really plan out future turns. And some people just don't like that. The things that I really enjoyed about the game is, first of all, it's great to play as a family if you have kids, because it's easy to teach and it's easy to learn. I actually did like the randomness of the game because it's different every time you play. There was one time we played when we were afraid the building was going to collapse on us because the damage cubes were just disappearing so fast. Another game I played, the POIs kept rolling into the middle of all the fires, and we were afraid that we weren't going to be able to rescue them fast enough and that we were going to lose all 4 victims and lose the game. If you're looking to pick up a game, I would definitely recommend Flashpoint. It's a really fun game. Thank you for watching my video. Please check out my website. I'll be reviewing a lot of other games, and you can comment in my website and let me know what you think. Thank you. Bye.